brightly.
I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. Again, thank you for everybody joining. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you're calling in from. Thanks for joining us. My name is Mike Bremer, one of the applications engineers here at School Dude. Today we're presenting event management. And going over the agenda, we are going to do an overview of event management and the process, challenges that you may be facing, some best practices. We're going to take a look at our new event management suite here at School Dude, some new exciting things to take a look at. We're going to do a live demonstration. As we jump into that live demonstration, if for some reason you're not seeing the screen, certainly let us know in that chat feature. I do have the lines muted because there are quite a few organizations joining us. And then we will wrap things up with a Q&A. Do you need any resources, follow-up, we will have an opportunity to document that as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, event management, it's more than just reserving a room. It's a complicated process. There's a lot of moving parts. Typically, from my experience in education as well as here at School Dude, there may be a lot of people involved as well. Common challenges include managing multiple calendars, working with antiquated processes. Maybe that's paper, maybe that's email, maybe it's phone calls, maybe it's people coming up to the schools. Lack of communication. Again, when there's a lot of people involved and there's a lot of moving parts, communication is a vital aspect of event management and to the process and the success of the event management process. So are we communicating with all the stakeholders involved? Are we communicating with the contact, the organization coming in to use our facilities? Are we communicating with our supporting staff, our service providers, our maintenance, our custodial staff? Maybe we offer food services, security, parking, IT, and so on. So a lot of people that we need to communicate with and also give visibility into the process. So lack of visibility, another common challenge. And also engaging the school community. These are just a few of the challenges and the aspects of the event management process. Now we've developed this event management cycle here at School Dude, and we've really been taking a look at this and how can we ensure that each one of these steps are taken care of and being part of the process. And the first thing is the scheduling process. A lot of times that may take a good bit of time. It could take days to activate a permit. So how can we save time? And a big part of that is being able to automate the process and streamline that process depending on who's involved. We want to make sure that we're eliminating double booking. Also, a big aspect of that is giving that visibility. After we schedule, we're approving. So we go from submitting a request to approving that request. And then if we're recovering any fees, cost for the use of facilities, being able to invoice. And then these last two aspects of being able to publish and promote. And these are really interesting aspects. There's some good research out there around engagement and retention rates at our educational organizations. So we could be talking about faculty and staff and increasing engagement and retention on the faculty staff side. We could also be looking at that from the student and parent side as well. So we want to easily be able to publish our event content out, maybe through our website, maybe through email processes, and we want to get people engaged and promote these school activities out to our school community to drive that engagement and showcase upcoming events. We did an interesting study that goes back over 14 years now, around 2002, asking the question of, how important it is for our educational organizations to open up the doors and engage the community. An overwhelming yes into that is a big part of what we do as a public K-12 organization. And we want to be able to drive that community engagement, get people engaged, get people involved, and drive that excitement around our schools. What we're going to be looking at today is really three aspects. The request management process, which is the workflow, the back end of event management, the request and approval of these events, risk management, understanding who's on our campus, when they're on our campus, service coordination, getting your service providers involved, again, your maintenance staff, your custodial staff, IT, food services, those who support these events. Making sure we have built-in communication so everybody involved throughout this process knows what's going on and understands what their role is in supporting events. Building automation, rental agreements, and then also the cost recovery, is which we've spent a lot of time focusing in on this area, is how can we recover costs, set up fee tables, invoicing, online payment. And then what we're really excited about is the first two aspects are really the internal process, the back end of event management. But then once we get that set up, now we're talking about community engagement, being able to easily promote and publish your event content to drive engagement for your school community through social media. Maybe we have events that we're registering for or selling tickets for. We're having a football game on Friday night. We want to sell tickets for that. Or maybe we're having a performance in our performance hall, dance or art related, and we are selling tickets for that. Being able to generate alerts, customize and build the brand that you've already established through your school community and on your website. Integration through other platforms. And then again, being able to register for events, sell tickets for events, and even merchandise for those events as well. Now, one of the newer aspects of our event management process is what we call Event Publisher. And this is a way to easily publish and promote your event content with a calendar site that helps engage your school community. And the different aspects of this solution is the ability to easily publish event content, promote these events, get people engaged, and then being able to analyze that type of information that's occurring on your calendar site by running reports, but also a link and integration into Google Analytics. And Google Analytics is, you can sign up for a free account, but it allows you to understand the traffic that your calendar site is getting. How many people are visiting your calendar site? What events are creating more engagement? What events are driving registration? And starting to be able to analyze that type of information, again, because we all want to increase school community involvement into our events and drive attendance or drive registration or drive ticket sales to different events that we are selling tickets for, and understanding what events are causing that to happen. And that could be done through the reporting capabilities and also a tie-in to Google Analytics. So what I'm going to do from here, and again, I'm going to jump into a live demonstration here. We're going to start with the back-end event management process, submitting a request, tracking that request through the approval process, and then from there we're actually going to jump into the event publisher piece of the solution to help publish and promote and drive engagement into these events at your school community. If you're not seeing the live demonstration, because I'm going to share my screen out and leave the presentation, if for some reason you do not see the presentation, the live demonstration, certainly put that into the chat feature and we'll try and make sure that we can fix that issue. But I'm going to share my screen out here and just give me a second. We're going to jump into the solution. And we should be seeing a screen where I'm going to highlight here, welcome to facility rental request site. I'll give that a little bit of time here, about 5 more seconds in case your computer and your screen is needing to catch up. But again, if for some reason you're not seeing that screen, certainly let us know. All right, so what we're in here is this solution, Event Essentials Pro, allows for the request to come in from internal organizations or contacts. So let's say, I don't know, I'm the head of the math department, I'm the math department chair, and I want to have a meeting with my math faculty and staff members after school one day, and I need to request the use of a room. So whether we're talking about a faculty staff meeting, a student club meeting, a department meeting, submitting that request. But also this solution handles the community use aspect as well. And we know that many of you, if not all of you, being a K-12 organization, open your doors up for community use. So this solution handles that process for you as well. And it can also handle different types of schedules, whether we're talking about it's a one-day event and that's all that it's going to occur, or maybe we are doing a reoccurring type event. Okay, every Tuesday we have this meeting. And even irregular types of schedules as well. Sometimes I give the example of athletics. Maybe we're the basketball team. We're going to practice in this gym today at this time. Well, tomorrow we're going to practice maybe in a different gym at a different time. So we can handle different types of schedules. Now, this opening paragraph in the request form is customizable to fit your needs. So you can put any information in there that you'd like, change it whenever necessary. You can provide your requesters handy links. Maybe it's access to the actual calendar of events here. From there, we're going to talk about opportunities of determining what's required or not required on the request form for the requester to fill out, hence these red check boxes next to certain fields. And we are also going to point out any customized opportunities as well. We're going to capture who the requester is, their name and contact information. From there, we can put in an event title. Maybe we're, being that it's the summertime now, maybe we're getting ready for new student orientation or open house in the beginning of a school year. We can put in an event description, more like a summary of that event. And then we could choose where that event is occurring. So maybe this is happening at, being School Dude, we like Dude Campus. You would have drop downs here for your buildings and your rooms. So maybe we're just going to be using the main auditorium. Again, if you need to set up an event with multiple locations or multiple buildings, multiple rooms, we can certainly handle that as well. The dates, so I'm going to go over to August, and we'll just go with August 9th. Now from here we can actually check availability. And what that allows us to do is we are making sure that venue on that date and time is available. Okay? So if it was blocked for some reason, maybe you don't offer the use of your facilities during that time, maybe you have a school event taking place, or maybe that time slot is already booked. So making sure that room, that space is available at that time, we can check for availability. Now we can also put in our time, so we're going to say, okay, this starts at 6 p.m. and it's going to end at 8 p.m. If we require any additional setup time or breakdown time, how long does the event occur? And again, now we can go back and check that availability again, and here in that yellow block of time is the time that we're requesting, and there is nothing else going on at that time. From here, additional information. This section is fully customizable to fit your needs. So if it's something outside of the form itself, a question that you have that you need filled out, additional documentation, you can also make these questions or this information required for that requester to fill out. Then we get into the organization. So again, is this an internal organization like the math department, admissions, academics? If you want to list out each individual organization, some organizations just keep it pretty simple and they do athletics or academics. Who's the contact for this organization, the main contact and their contact information? Now again, if we're dealing with maybe an outside organization and you are recovering cost and you need billing information, you can provide that in here as well. Insurance information, and there's multiple ways to keep up with insurance policies from within the solution, and I'll point those out, but if you're requiring insurance, we can document that. And then we can start getting into our services that we offer. So we offer a lot of different opportunities related to these service providers that you may offer to support these events. So these are options that you can turn on or off. And we have some examples here. Maybe there's maintenance needs. Maybe we need, custodian there to make sure that the restrooms are stocked and cleaned, maybe help clean up after event. And of course, we can be as detailed as necessary. Now, this is the requester providing this information. But as this goes through your approval process, a lot of organizations we work with have building administrators involved in the approval process. You may have like an athletic director involved in the process if it's an event that's happening in one of your gyms or on one of the athletics fields. You can also have them, as this goes through the approval process, add information or detail to these services as well. As a requester, I may not think that I need to notify you to turn on your HVAC system or override your building automation system. And that's a great example of how you can add to this as it goes through your workflow process. Now, event setup. Maybe we need tables and chairs. Maybe we need light snacks and refreshments. Maybe we need the grass cut and line the fields. Override your building automation system. Maybe we're going to have parking attendants there. Maybe we need to contact security. We need your student resource officer there to be at the basketball game. Any IT needs. We need AV equipment set up. We need to make sure that we have a projector and a Wi-Fi connection. Rental requests, this section here is fully customizable to meet your needs. Any additional items that you may offer to support these events, AV equipment, speakers, microphones. I've worked with organizations that offer sporting equipment, basketballs, footballs, frisbees, and so on. Again, this is fully customizable to fit your needs, so we can say, yes, we need microphones, maybe we need 2 microphones, and we need those placed on the stage, maybe on the podium. How many people are attending? We can break it down by adults or children if necessary. Any additional needs? They can add attachments to the request form itself, and then from there, we would just simply be submitting. So that's the request process. I'm going to go ahead and hit save here. Now, additionally, on the requester side, one additional thing I would like to point out here is, as a requester, I have the ability, and this could be an internal requester or a community organization submitting a request, we have the opportunity of keeping up with the status of our request. I don't need to call, email, stop by the school to figure out what's going on. Here from within my account, I can see only the event requests that I've submitted, not anybody else's. And I can also see what status they're in, if they've been approved, maybe they've been canceled, maybe they've been declined. And again, if you are invoicing for the use of your facilities, again, maybe this is more for the community organizations that come in to use your facilities, we'd be able to pull up our invoice within our account as well and even pay online if you want to take advantage of that feature. Now, what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to jump over to the administrative view of the solution, and this is really the command center. This is where you see everything going on as it's happening. So you could have more than one administrator, but we also provide other roles. We have the requesters, internal as well as community organization requesters. We have the administrator who needs to see everything going on as it's happening from all buildings, all locations, all organizations. Perhaps your organization has like an event coordinator type role. But also we provide roles like a site administrator, which is typically a building administrator or a head secretary, could be the athletic director, somebody who just needs to be the middleman step in the approval process that says, yes, this is approved, or no, this is declined before going on its way additionally through the workflow process. And we can automate these requests based on the status, the location, the building, the room, when routed to this person, route to this person next. So another great example, maybe your organization wants it to go from the requester to the building administrator first, and then to the event coordinator for the final approval and activation. Maybe you have, again, the example of the athletic director. Maybe anything happening in one of the gyms or on one of the athletic fields needs to go from the requester, maybe to the building administrator, and then maybe to the athletic director before being activated. And we can handle as many different routing rules as necessary. We'll help during the implementation process with this. But here we have 21 routing rules set up in our demo account. We work with some organizations that have upwards of 150 plus routing rules. So again, as many as you need. You also have access to a centralized calendar of events from within the solution. And this is going to give you a really good eagle-eye view to understand what's going on, what events are happening, but also what the status of those events are. So here we can use our shortcuts and we can look at this calendar from a month perspective, a week, a day, by room. We can go back to previous months, go out to future months. We can print this out. We can download it and email it as a report if necessary. And we have a lot of other filtering options over here on the right-hand side. Now here I'm looking at an organizational wide calendar for the whole month of June. Again, it's going to give us on the month view the event name, but also tell us the status of that event. So we see some green, some yellow, and some red, and we have a legend that explains what those mean. If it's green, it's been approved and activated, we're good to go there. If it's yellow, it's been approved but hasn't been activated yet. Again, activation is the final step in the process. And if it's red, that means it's been requested but has not been approved at all. Certainly something that would catch our eye. We can even see if we've invoiced for that event, if they paid, if their insurance has expired, all right here from within the calendar. Now, you'll see in the top right-hand corner RSS and iCal. If your organization has the need to push out event content from this calendar out to any other calendaring solution, Outlook, Google, and so on, you could do that by grabbing this iCal feed and then importing that into another calendaring system. Now, it also gives your customers, those organizations from out in the community that are using your facilities, that very same flexibility. Maybe I'm your local town's parks and recreation department and I use your facilities. Maybe I need to grab event content from the community use calendar, and I could do that by filtering and then grabbing that iCal feed and importing that into maybe a calendar solution that I'm using. Again, Google, Outlook, and others. Let's jump over to the home page here. Now, on the home screen, we're going to have a dashboard in the middle that shows us events that are awaiting our approval. We're going to see events that are waiting to be invoiced. We're going to see schedules in their different statuses. We're going to see events for this month and upcoming months, billing information, and also community users. Now, what that is there for is, as a community organization, before I can just come into the solution and start submitting requests, I actually need to create an account. And that just is providing your educational organization some basic information about this organization. Who are they? What's their contact information? What type of organization are they? And that allows you to do your due diligence. If you need to gather insurance information and any other documentation to attach to that organization, it gives you time to do that, and then you can say, yes, now you are approved, or perhaps they're even declined. I know in our area here in North Carolina, we have a lot of athletic travel leagues popping up, AAU and other type athletic leagues. And before they can start submitting requests, we'd like to know who they are. And so therefore, that is what that community user portal is for, and the awaiting approval. Now let's take a look at actually approving an event. So I'll go in here. We have 6 events that are awaiting our approval. I see those in this drop-down menu. So here's the one that I just submitted. Shows me where they'd like to use, what venue, location, building, room, the date, and times. From here, I can always decline that event if necessary and put in reason for decline. I could also, if I approve it, I can go back and cancel it. Or what I'm going to do now is process and approve, and that's going to pull me right into the request form with all the information. Now, as this is going through your workflow process, if you need to make changes, you certainly can do that. But I'm just going in here and checking off that everything is filled out, which again, you determine what's required, so all that should be there for you. So we're just looking, making sure we have all that information that is required to fill out and any additional information. Again, if we need that billing address for invoicing purposes, if we needed their insurance information. Now, this is an internal organization, so probably don't require that information. We have our setup requirements. And again, what is going to happen now, as we approve and activate this event, this is going to send out notifications to your service providers. So whoever oversees your custodial needs or your maintenance needs, event setup and food services and our IT needs, that's going to set up a task for that department and send them a notification that they have a task related to this event that they need to support. So we have the built-in communication aspect throughout your workflow process. Now from here, I can just simply go ahead and activate that schedule, click that radio button down at the bottom. If I want to, I can put in notes about the approval process, and then I'd just be hitting save. And here it stopped me because I did not fill out a question. So from here, now I'm just hitting save, and what that's going to do is it's now going to go ahead and generate an email notification sent to your requester notifying them of the status of that request so that it's been approved. From here, we have some additional opportunities if we need to change anything, review something, or maybe go ahead and create a manual invoice for that event. And it's going to populate a lot of the information on the invoice for you. You can put in an invoice date, terms, comments, is a deposit required? And then for the actual fees on an invoice, from within the solution, the account setup, you can establish fee tables. So maybe you have fee tables or fee schedules based on the type of organization using your facilities. Is it an organization that has a lot of students involved? Therefore, maybe you waive the fees. Maybe it's a nonprofit where you waive the fees or minimal fees. Or maybe it's more of a for-profit organization, and therefore you have these fees involved. Maybe those fee tables are also established based on the venue that they're using. So, okay, if you're using this high school gym, here are the common fees associated with using that gym. So you can either copy fee tables to an invoice, or down here at the bottom, you can also manually put in fees as well. Now with those invoices, remember, we can pull up this invoice from within our account as a requester. You can print it out and hand it to them. You can download it and email it to them, and I'd probably say multiple forms of getting that invoice to them is not a bad thing. Now, this solution also directly integrates with SchoolDude's maintenance work order system, Maintenance Essentials Pro. And I mentioned this earlier, if it is a maintenance need here, such as this event where we need to clean up and we needed chairs, we can click that Create Work Order button, which would create a facility scheduling work order and push that over to Maintenance Essentials Pro. Therefore, if you're currently utilizing our maintenance work order system or looking for a maintenance work order system, your maintenance department can then pull up their work orders, whether it's corrective maintenance or preventative maintenance or a facility scheduling work order from within one solution that they use on a regular basis. So from here, we've requested the use of your facility. It's gone through an approval process. We've approved and activated that event. Now from here, how do we publish and promote that event to drive engagement? So from here, what I'm going to do, I need to make sure I just have this shared out with you. From here, I'm going to pull up the event publisher piece of the solution. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds here for your computer to catch up, and what we should be looking at is Historic Bethlehem Museum and Sites. This is actually a live site here of one of the current clients of the event publisher piece of the solution. This is included in Event Essentials Pro, so everything we're looking at today is included in the solution. Certainly if you're not seeing that, let us know. Put that into the chat feature. And I'm going to walk through a couple different client examples of this side of the solution. Again, this piece of Event Essentials Pro is called Event Publisher to easily promote and publish your event content and be able to get folks in the school community engaged. Now, I'm going to use the term branding often here because what this allows you to do is mimic the branding that you've already established on your website. The reason I'm showing Historic Bethlehem, even though it's a non-education specific example, is this is what the solution can look like pretty much right out of the box all they've done is they've put in their tagline here, Visit, Explore, Experience, and then their logo, Historic Bethlehem. Now that is a live link. I can click that logo, which would take me right back into their homepage of their website. At the top here, they've highlighted some events. We have a lot of organizations that want to highlight certain events, not only on the calendar site, but also be able to take those highlighted events, put them on their homepage of their website, or maybe even push those out to monitors, digital signage that you may have around campus. We see a lot of monitors in the lobby, in the front lobbies of schools, or in the cafeteria of schools, and you could easily do that with an XML feed. Now what I want us to really focus in on are the different view types and the search capabilities, because it's important to understand that you have the opportunity to determine how people view event content, but also how people search for event content. And a little bit of marketing 101 here is, if it's not easy for me to find the content that I'm looking for on your website or any website, then I'm probably going to leave the website in a short amount of time, which creates what's called bounce back. So, okay, I'm not finding what I need. I'm not overly motivated. It's not very easy for me to find that content. Therefore, I'm just going to leave the website. And think about parents in this situation and how much time our organizations spend taking phone calls on the day of an event to just give some basic information. Where is it located again? What time does it start? Where do we need to go? Do we need to check into the front office? Do I need to check my child out of class to go to the event? And so on. All these different questions that a parent may have. And I've been through this. I live it with 4 kids in school these days. So it's really important to be able to promote this content as easily as possible. Within this solution, we provide 3 different view types. Now, Historic Bethlehem has it set on what's called the summary view, which is my favorite view because we can put in an illustration for that event, the title for that event, as well as a description, the date and times, as well as where that event is located. And this solution is mobile responsive. So again, I may be a parent. I may have this pulled up on my smartphone, and maybe I'm looking at this event. Maybe I'm heading to that event, and I'm about to leave my house. Well, let me go ahead and click on that location so I can get directions. So you can tie in through a Google API to provide directions to these events as well. Now there's other view types here. You decide on the default, but also what other view types do you want to use? Do you want to use a calendar, a grid view? Also there's what's called a list view, which is just providing the date, the time, and the event title, but no illustration and no description. Maybe your organization only wants to use summary view and calendar view and not use the list view at all, which is an option. Now let's talk about publicizing, promoting, and engaging again here. As a parent, maybe I want to, I'm interested in this event. Maybe I want to email it to myself. Maybe I want to email it to others. Maybe I want to set it as a reminder. And let me scroll down here to some upcoming events. So for instance, maybe I'm interested in this event. I want to set it as a reminder. Well, therefore I can put in my information. How do I want to receive that reminder? Maybe through an email, maybe a text message. Maybe I want that the day before the event. Maybe I want it 30 minutes before that event. I can add events to my favorites. Maybe I'm interested in this. I want to save it and come back so I can add it to my favorites. Or maybe I want to add it directly, this one event directly to my own personal calendar, Google, Outlook, and so on. Now your visitors also have the opportunity here. You'll see share it and subscribe. Maybe I want to subscribe to this whole event or only certain content on this calendar site. And therefore I can subscribe to an RSS feed or subscribe to my Google Calendar or Outlook Calendar, iCal feed, and so on. And then being able to, again, easily promote this event content through social media streams, which is today's word-of-mouth marketing. Be able to push this out to my own personal Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google Plus site. And I have an example here. I pushed an event from Historic Bethlehem over to LinkedIn, and as my followers and friends see this, they can click on it, and it will take them directly into the event details specifically for that event. Now let's go through a couple different examples here. Prince George's County in Maryland. Now you'll notice has a little bit of a different look and feel to it. Nice big illustration. It's that district logo. They have more options about learning in schools, which is consistent throughout their district's website. They have their view type set on the summary view, just like we saw. Now they also have some other options. They put in links here to their school calendar, graduations, their athletic schedules. So a couple different opportunities here relative to branding opportunities. Jump over to Johnson County Schools in North Carolina. They use this specifically, this specific calendar site, they use it specifically for professional development opportunities for their faculty and staff. They've pulled in their logo here, nice big illustration. They've highlighted some upcoming events. Now they have their view type defaulted to the list view. Now they also have the search bar automatically populated here, which some other examples you would have to click the search link to populate the search bar. Now again, you determine how people search for content. Very common is start and end dates. Maybe it's different grade levels, elementary, middle, high school. Maybe it's by different categories. And you'll notice underneath these events, these color-coded squares, those are different categories. So you can customize your own categories here. And I can also search by 5 categories deep. So here's some examples of Johnson County Schools, the categories that they use. So maybe I'm interested in this, this, and this. So I can search by 5 categories deep. I could also search by multiple locations or multiple buildings to see what's going on. Maybe I'm a parent and I have a student in the elementary school, but maybe I also have a student in the middle school or high school. Therefore, I want to see what's going on at those different locations specifically. All right, let's go to one other example here. This is higher education, but Ohio University has done a lot of branding and a lot of customization, which is all capable through the solution in the back end with the account settings. Now, this is their main homepage of their website, and what they've done is they've taken featured events right out of the solution and put them onto their homepage. So I see some featured events here, but I can click on all events to get into the calendar site. They've pulled in the header that's consistent with their website on every page of their website, their logo, additional headers here where we see about Ohio, academics, and missions. They've pulled in an illustration, which they continuously update on about an every month basis. They change this illustration depending on what time of year it is and what's going on. They've wrapped their featured events a little bit differently from what we saw in some other examples. They didn't want the illustration. They just want more of a description of that event. They have their view type set on list view. And then they also have the ability, they took the Q, shared, and subscribe from the right-hand side and brought that over to the left-hand side. That works for them. So it's all about the look and feel that you want. Again, building that brand and making sure that that brand is consistent with your website. Now, I'm going to wrap things up in this demonstration by getting into our demo account here. And we've done some good branding in our demo site. We've highlighted some events. We've pulled in an illustration. School Dude, we're located in right outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. So this is an illustration of downtown Raleigh. But you'll notice with some of these events, like new student orientation, it has a ticket next to it, meaning there's registration or ticket sales going on for this specific event. So again, maybe I'm a visitor, I'm a faculty or staff member, I'm a student, I'm a parent, maybe just somebody from out in the community, and I'm interested in going to that event. So I can either click on the event name or go into the details. And now I have all the information relative to that event, but now I can also register. So, okay, I want to register. I want to register one. I'm going to add it to my cart. Now this is very similar to what we see on a lot of solutions these days online. You determine what information is required for this registration or ticket sale. Do you need their name? Do you need their email address? Do you need a phone number? And then what happens is I can go ahead and add that to my cart and check out, even if it's free. And what's going to happen as the visitor, that individual or those people that are registering, it's going to send me an email notification that I've registered for that event. You can even enable ticketing, which would not only send me a notification email, but it would also provide me with that ticket that I can either print out or pull up on my mobile device. Think about a mobile boarding pass that you can use with the airline industry now. And I can come through, maybe it's the football game, I have that ticket pulled up with a QR code, and you just scan that QR code, and that would also help track attendance. You would also receive, as the administrator of the solution, a notification that somebody has registered. And what that's allowing you to do is you have an events dashboard here that shows you the events that you publish on your calendar, but you can get into the dashboard that allows you to analyze that event. So how many people have registered, or how many tickets have you sold? What's the revenue that you've generated from those ticket sales? Maybe you need to get into a list of the registrants. Maybe you want to email those registrants. Maybe it's a professional development meeting and you just want to send out a reminder, hey, really looking forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. Don't forget to bring your laptop to the meeting. Now, the final thing I want to talk about is the ability with registration, the different opportunities that you have with registration from within the solution. Maybe you want registration on a completely different, a separate page. Maybe you want to cap registration. Is it free or is there a cost involved? How many registrations are available or how many tickets are available? What information do you need to gather from the registrant? You can also add your own questions here, and those can be open text fields, check boxes, single choice or multiple choice type questions. Maybe you want to start selling or start registration for this event at a certain date and end at a certain date. Maybe there's a minimum required and a maximum. Also the ability of including a wait list. So maybe you have the maximum is going to be 50, but after 50 you want to start adding people to a wait list in case anybody cancels the registration for that event. And also you have the ability of adding sale items here as well. So again, if you have anything relative to like t-shirts or mugs or posters, any additional merchandise items, you can also sell that from within the solution as well. So again, what we've looked at so far is we've looked at submitting a request, we've looked at having that request go through a dedicated approval process, activating that event, all the back-end event management process, but then now we've wrapped up the conversation around promoting and publicizing the event content on your very own calendar site. So I have some questions coming over. I'm going to go back in here to the presentation. And as I go through this, I'm going to pull up a polling question just so we know what kind of feedback or what type of follow-up information that you may need. So I'm going to leave that up on the screen. You can certainly go ahead and fill that out. You can click on the screen. What additional information or resources do you need from us here at School Dude? And we'll go ahead and reach out and provide that information to your organization. As you're doing that, I'm going to pull up some questions here. All right, can an outside requester fill out the form? Yes, they can. And I'm going to actually, I'm going to come back to that polling question again. Hopefully that doesn't mess anything up, but it shouldn't. And I'm going to go back into the back end of the solution, which is the workflow process. So we should be sharing out here. And I'm going to go to my account settings. So this way, just to answer that question with a visual answer here, yes, the community organizations or community contact could absolutely fill out a request form. And that could look identical to the internal form. It may look a little bit different. They do go through a 4-step wizard here. So I click on request facility use, different types of schedules, and they would go through a 4-step wizard to fill out that request, completing each page before moving on. All right, let's go to another question here. Can you have an administrator for just the events if you have other School Dude products? Can you have an administrator for just the events if you have other School Dude products? Yes, you can. If you have a dedicated administrator, event coordinator, whoever oversees the event process for your organization, yes, you can just have that one individual manage the event request process even if you have other School Dude products. And then the next question was, do we put the link to the event publisher calendar on our website? So there's a couple different opportunities there, and what you need to think about and visualize here is that on most, if not all of your current websites have a link to events or to a calendar. And when we click that link or go to that page of your website, what we would be looking at is then the event publisher solution. We'd actually be looking at this specific calendar site. Okay? And again, if maybe you want that default to just be a traditional calendar, and that's what we're viewing as soon as we come to that calendar site, so this is what we would be looking at. So yes, that could be a link. Trying to see here if there's any additional questions. If not, I'm going to give you a little bit more of time back in your day here. So I'm going to go back here just to the polling question, making sure that we have given folks an opportunity here to fill out the feedback that they need. And so we've gotten some good responses here, so we certainly appreciate that. Now, what we will do, if you have any questions related to the technical aspects or regarding follow-up, my contact information is on the screen. It's michael.bremer@schooldude.com. What we will also do is we will send you out a link to the recording of today's presentation as well. If you want to take a listen to it again, maybe you want to share it with other folks within your organization, you're more than welcome to do that. And as far as that follow-up is concerned, we will get in touch with you regarding that follow-up if you need additional resources or data sheets, or would like to schedule a private presentation of the solution for yourself or others at your organization. We can certainly do that as well. So I know a lot of you have already wrapped up school or getting ready to wrap up school, and students leave for the summer, which I'm sure that means that it's time for some projects to start on your end. The work never stops, I'm sure. So I really do appreciate the opportunity of joining us today here at School Dude and learning a little bit more about some new opportunities with our event management process and our event management solutions, Event Essentials Pro. So again, appreciate everybody's time, and hopefully you're looking forward to or already enjoying your summer. Thank you so much for joining today.